Hey kids, it's Mr. Chiswick. And guess what? I have a great story to read to you today. It's a true story. Um, I want you to believe every word that happens in this story because it's in the title. It says, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. Apparently, there was a different version you might have heard of in the past. This is the true story of the Three Little Pigs. I want you to listen. I want you to enjoy. You make the decision. Which one was real? Is it the other story you heard? Is it this story? I don't know. Maybe none of them. I've never heard of a pig or a wolf talking, but that's just me. Enjoy the story.
The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf, as told to John Siska, illustrated by Lane Smith. The 10-year anniversary special A. Wolf update. 1999. Dear reader, there has obviously been some kind of mistake. It's been 10 years now since I first explained what happened to those three little pigs, but I'm still in the pen. Maybe the warden just hasn't had a chance to look into the whole mess yet. I'm sure everything will be taken care of once he hears my side of the story. I mean, why wouldn't I be set free? I've been a model prisoner. There was that small problem with the cake my granny sent to me. I don't know how a saw got in there. It must have fallen off the tool shelf into the frosting like she said. And then there was that confused little girl in the Red Riding Hood. Saw my picture in the paper. Then she made up some tale about my dressing like her granny and scaring her with what big eyes I have and what big teeth I have. Crazy. Would I do something like that? I think the answer to that is in the letters I get from all over the world. Mr. Wolf, you are innocent. Bobby LeBeau, Lupine, Texas. Monsieur Wolf, you should be free. L.E. Loup Perry. That's it. The true story, 10 years later, straight from the wolf's mouth. So now that you know, maybe you could put in a good word or two for me? Something like free A Wolf? Free A Wolf now? Really? A Wolf. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You could call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheeps and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But, like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about to sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw. So, of course, the minute I knocked on the front door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home with the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed and a great sneeze. And you know what? The whole darn house of straw fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, Go away, Wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs of my chinny chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I got a great sneeze. I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake? What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, And your old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar?